Welcome, welcome everyone. Hello, wherever you're watching from. Welcome to another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show. And today we're gonna have an amazing time because we're going to talk about fashion. We're going to talk about fashion in Trinidad and Tobago, and I think you're gonna discover so many, so many artists, so many things that you've probably never seen in your life. So today I have two guests. I was supposed to have three guests, but as you know, there's always something going on, especially in this time of COVID and everything that is happening. But it's gonna be nevertheless an impressive show. Just to give you an idea of the my guest today, I have two guests. So I'm gonna have Dr. SABEETA. You probably know Dr. SABEETA from previous show with me. We had a show together, and she's also been a guest on the Greatness Engineering Hour show, and she is known as the Global Trini because she has worked and traveled in so many countries, and she will have the opportunity to tell you more about it in a minute. And we have Aisha all the way from Trinidad and Tobago. She worked for Fashion TT. She's a business development specialist and an advocate for women empowerment and entrepreneurship. So she also get the opportunity to let you know exactly what she's doing, and we're going to talk particularly about a fashion show that is coming up in March. So stay tuned. Have everything ready to learn from those exceptional ladies, to learn about fashion in Trinidad and Tobago, and also get the opportunity to think about your next shopping. So get ready. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know if you have an insight, if you have a question. Don't hesitate to ask. Don't hesitate to interact with us. We certainly will enjoy having a great conversation with you. So let's go. Let's start the show, and make sure we enjoy the culture and the fashion coming all the way from Trinidad and Tobago. Another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show, the show that is brought to you by the Birai Telekima Global Leadership Organization.
Real is important is if you just look at the word compassion, when it's behavior, it's something that can be learned, and it is something that we can embody through habits and through our daily actions.
To get this idea that if we interject this wisdom intentionally, I call them needle movers. It's the needle mover that's missing.
Don't deprive the world of your greatness. Please. Don't do that anymore. Dare to excel, dare to be sexy, dare to be you, dare to be the best version of yourself. Impact yourself positively, and from there impact others, and you are not alone.
So welcome, Sabita, welcome, Aisha, welcome to the Greatness Engineering Hour show. And like I said, I'm just so excited to know more about, the fashion in Trinidad and Tobago. I can see it already from my friend Sabita, but I want to know more about it. So before we get into, getting to the into the conversation and understand a little bit what is the fashion in Trinidad and Tobago and how you are exporting it to the world, I just want you to introduce yourself to the audience, and I'm going to start with Aisha to let us know who you are and what you do and anything exciting about what you do right now.
So, of course, so my name is Aisha Stewart, and I am the project lead within an organization called Fashion TT. And what we do is really support fashion designers and their work in Fashion TT. So that's what we do, and we really work towards building up our entrepreneurs. So that is a basic snippet about me. What do I, the things, so I'm interested in all things Trinidadian culture, Caribbean culture. So those are the things that I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about women empowerment, and I'm passionate about helping entrepreneurs become their best selves and do the things that they want to do.
Thank you so much. And I know there's a lot, about you. We're gonna discover through the show
Yeah.
the impressive work that you are doing, and talk about what's coming up in next month. There's a big event coming up. But I'm gonna start first with Global Trini, to let us know who she is, to reintroduce herself to the audience, and then we'll get this conversation going.
Thank you, my friend Mariel. Good morning, Aisha. Welcome. And welcome to the audience. Thank you for being a part of this event that we're hosting today. Many of you may have seen me before. Mariel and I do a lot of stuff together, and I want to thank her for her footprints. I also want to say that Aisha didn't tell you all about the superwoman job she's doing in Trinidad, and I'm just so impressed with what Fashion TT and led by Lisa and Aisha are doing for the designers and elevating the brand. That when we started initial talks, it was a wow factor for me. Having lived outside of Trinidad for such a long time, one of the things I was always very proud of is being Trinidadian, especially when I lived in Australia. I remember finding nuggets of Trinidad culture was so rare. I once stumbled across a guy playing pan outside the casino in Adelaide. And for me, I just stopped and I stared, because that was home. That felt like home for me. And, as I got older and throughout all my journeys, I realized how important it is to stay connected to your roots. When we started talking to Fashion TT, when Cardinal Services started talking to Fashion TT, it was an opportunity to take what I had brought to the rest of the global world back home to Trinidad and really do something to work with the fashion company and elevate the designers. So Cardinal Services was founded in memory of my father when I lost him. I was very lost at that point in time, and I was going through a lot of pain and troubles. And the one thing I kept seeing was a red bird. I'd never seen a red bird before. I don't know if you go in Trinidad, if you've ever seen the birds in Trinidad. And our fashion is inspired by the local birds and the fauna and the flora. And when I lost my father, I just kept seeing this red bird, and I'd never seen a bird like it before in my life. And I started exploring it, and I realized it was called a cardinal, and a cardinal is a very rare bird to see. It's a bird that pops up to you when you need it, when you're lost. And I'd seen that bird so many times during my period of grief. In 1 year, Mariel, this, I lost my father very suddenly. My mother had a massive stroke. I almost lost my life in a severe car accident, all in 1 year. And I remember praying very hard, and that bird was the one thing that I kept seeing. And I'm like, okay, this must be a sign. And, since I first started Cardinal, we've been doing a lot of things. I'm really happy with the footprint that Cardinal is making throughout the world in terms of transformation. For me, it's about serving a cause at all times first before anything else, and following with passion, leading with passion. So I'm really happy to be part of the Fashion TT initiative and all things Caribbean. So that's a little bit about me.
Thank you, SABEETA. And yes, I know, it has been very difficult, but there's always light at the end of the tunnel. And we see now all the beautiful things that you're doing, especially for your country. And I'm still, still remembering the first time I ate the Trinidadian food, I didn't want to leave your house. So that was really fantastic. So Aisha, Sabita has been talking a lot about fashion TT. What I really want to know, what is fashion TT and what do they do exactly?
Oh, certainly. So Fashion TT is the state enterprise that has been mandated to develop the business interests of the fashion sector as well as help with their export interests. So we have a very vibrant fashion industry that has many codes in many different places. If you look behind me, that's actually a carnival costume. And lots of our fashion designers are involved in designing of costumes, carnival mundial, so many different things. We have creative designers who are interested in various different things using sustainable fabrics, lots of really unique types of fabrics and types of creations. But beyond that, we also have designers who are just now starting up, and we have such a creative culture. So the government really wants to harness that creativity in a manner that helps to build the economy as well as build the lives of those involved, build employment, build sustainable avenues for them to grow their business. So that's kind of what Fashion TT does. We come together, we work with the designers to build their business development interests, to help them to grow, to move out of just being creatives, but being creatives that can actually earn income, not only earn income, but provide employment for so many people, export internationally, put their footprints outside. So that's something that we are very involved with. So we have this program called the Value Chain Investment Program. And within that program, we really just help mentor designers at different stages. And the Global Value Chain Program, which is the program we're talking about today, that is our top tier designers. Those designers who have been in the industry, some of them for over 20 years, some just starting up, but those who are really have export-ready products, have export-ready businesses and processes and procedures. So we have designers like Mailing, we have designers like The Cloth, we have designers like Eclipse Eli, and those are three, I just call their names, but they're so different. Eclipse Eli is a menswear bespoke designer, really tailored suits. The Cloth is he works a lot with prints and fabrics, but it's like fabrication that's unique and different. He does a lot of sustainable fashion. He's very into where his fabrics are sourced, how they are used. His inspiration is so many different things that you see in our environment. So it's very, very different. And Mailing is very modern and streamlined and chic. And they all represent parts of being a Caribbean person. So it's really, really exciting to meet our designers, really exciting to watch them not only become creatives and be that creative that they are, but also build their businesses, their processes, their procedures, watch them grow their businesses, watch them become employers and employ more and more people. It's just phenomenal to work with them. It's just a phenomenal opportunity.
So how do you see, because I understand that it's still a new initiative. So how do you see it growing? What is the strategy, especially now that you're looking at going into the global market, which is very competitive? So what is what are the key thing that you want to focus on, or you want to focus on to give it another boost and make sure the fashion, the designer from Trinidad and Tobago can position themselves very well globally?
That's an excellent question, actually. So we've been here for about 6 years, and over that time, we've seen designers. So some of the designers in this current program, we've worked with them from a very nascent stage, a stage where they just started, and we have watched them grow and develop to this point. And we do that through a lot of, in initial stages, we do like trainings for like marketing and just the business, your core business competence. And then we work with them one-on-one on their actual digging into their business. So why aren't you growing in this market? What can you do better to grow? How can you package better? How can you present yourself better? What are the marketing strategies that are working? Why is it not working? Why is it failing? So we spend a lot of time working with designers on different levels on that issue. And then now that they're global, what we really want to strategically do is really find the best niches for each designer. So each designer, as I described, is so different. We have some that are into what we call festival wear, because as you know, Trinidad and Tobago has a huge carnival. Actually, today is Carnival Monday. Carnival Monday in a pandemic is just a bit different than Carnival Monday generally. But yes, we have this huge festival, and lots of designers make something called festival wear. But if you think about it, there are other festivals all over the globe. There's Coachella, there are festivals in London, there's festivals all over the globe that this type of wear that we call festival wear will transition into. So we have designers that we're trying to streamline into that market, helping them to find niche contacts who are interested in festival wear, online boutiques that sell to customers who are looking to go out to parties, to concerts, outdoor concerts. So that's one thing we're doing. Other designers are more interested in connecting with the diaspora base. So they have things that are Caribbean in nature, Trinidadian in nature. So they connect with those databases. So we've been working with them strategically about connecting with diaspora institutions, connecting with artists who have that type of reach, particularly within the diaspora. So those are some of these strategies. In some cases, we are looking for just very niche things. So I will talking about he's just he's an artist in the truest form, and his clothing is like art, and he's not interested in selling in 200 pieces of anything. He wants you to appreciate that one piece that he's giving you that is so beautiful, that's so intricately made, that has a story, because for him, it has a story. So he wants that type of connection. So each one, we have niche strategies for each designer. And we've been working with Dr. I never called her Dr. SABEETA. My whole life, so I'll just continue to call her SABEETA. So we've been working with SABEETA, helping each designer kind of connect with those different types of markets that are perfect for their specific niche. And actually, in meeting with her, we've actually found other niches that we didn't really think were spot on for that designer. But we it's really opened our eyes to, yes, this could work for that designer. This store works for that designer. This market works for that designer because of the products that they sell. So that's what we've been really trying to do, really be niche and strategic about each and every designer we work with.
Fantastic. I know, SABEETA, I'm not going to call you Dr. SABEETA as well. I know that you love fashion. You love fashion. And so how did you end up, being part of this, because that's a big project. And, with everything that you do, on the side, how did you, how did you started to get involved into this initiative?
Well, it's really funny. As you know, I'm tapping into Guyana now, which is developing rapidly. And I was at the same point I'd come across an RFP that was posted by the consulate office in Miami. And I was like, when I looked at it and I kind of thought about, hang on. So I knew my bandwidth was very limited in terms of all the other things that I was doing at the time. I looked at it, I kind of did a quick landscape. Okay, hang on. So fashion has been impacted by the global pandemic. I always wanted to do something for Trinidad. I think, Marie, you and I talked about this at one point where I said, I've done so much around the world. I'd really like to really contribute something to Trinidad. And at that point, when I came across the RFP, I sat on it for a week. I'm like, I know I have the technology. I know I have the network. I know I have the ability to do something, but do I have the time? And, I kind of meditated and figured, okay, I'm going to have to make the time if I'm going to want to give back, right? And when I put in my RFP, I responded, and I don't think I did it back for maybe another, 2 months, was it, Aisha, or about a while, right? So but when they did reach back to me and said, hey, I want to have a discussion with you to understand more about what you're going to bring to this. They were very professional in terms of how they approached it. The board, Aisha and Lisa, when they had initial conversations, okay, we'd like to hear you more. We've seen what you propose on paper. Let's hear you more. And, at that point, we were just kind of talking about networking and creating opportunities for the designers. In the biggest picture, we did not even think about the scale that the platform has taken now. Back then, when I look back at those conversations. So a couple of things to level set on. We knew fashion was impacted We know that the designers, in terms of their ability to grow or scale their business was stagnated for the last 2 years. We know the Trinidad economy had been in a recession prior to 2019, and the pandemic did not help. We know all of this. With that in the back set, we kind of knew what we had to do. Creative industries is one of the ways to diverse the economy of Trinidad and Tobago, and it's a conversation that the government has been having for, I would say the last 15 years when they were talking about diversifying the economy. Talking about cottage industries. Marie, you have a strong oil and gas background. You know Trinidad from the oil and
Yeah,
gas.
definitely. Yeah.
So when you heard Trinidad in fashion, you never saw Trinidad in fashion, right?
No.
You know about them from oil and gas. And that's kind of like where the government's initiative is to really push the visibility of Trinidad and Tobago outside of the energy sector dependence that we've had for the last 50 years. So with all of that, I figured, okay, knowing what we know, one, a lot of in-person has stopped. Two, fashion is very sensory. So, the designers will need to have that appeal to really attract buyers. That appeal through look, feel, see, touch. Okay. We know that was pretty much curtailed because of pandemic, having fashion shows and stuff like that. When we got to talking, when Cardinal Services got to engaging with Fashion TT, a couple of the initiatives were, one, when I looked at all 11 designers, we needed to do what I call a brand audit across each of them to have a certain level of consistency, which was done. We kind of identified their strengths. So what is their USP? So each designer, and they're so beautiful in their own way, really attracts and appeals to a very different audience. And, identifying, so that for my first month on the project was identifying their USPs, understanding the designers, knowing what's their passion, not just jumping into the project and saying, I think you should do this. I want to know from you, what is your story? So, Aisha will tell you, we had calls with some designers as long as 3 hours, just hearing them out, understanding their passion, their story. And, when we took that story, we built it into their USP. And then we started carving out that brand identity to take them international. Part of the internationalization of the designers, and a couple of them had been to international fashion shows, but it was a hit. They do one, and then 2 years later they do another one. In terms of consistency, it wasn't there. So we talked a lot about sustainability. Aisha, Lisa, and I talked a lot about the importance of sustainability if creative is going to be the way forward in diversification. That being said, building out the portfolio, each designer, we spent time building their portfolio. 2 weeks ago, we started sending out packages to different buying houses. So we're at that point where I have actually sent out an introductory to each design. So the designers kind of selected who I would like to meet, their goals. If they had to choose a shop, what would it be? Now, there was some I had to say, hang on, you're not ready for this. Let's look at this, right? And what we're doing is their first reach. So our first reach now is communicating out. So we've sent out an introductory letter, giving those buyers the portfolio for the designers, giving them links to our global platform that we've launched, and I'll show you that. Actually inviting all the buying houses to our fashion event as a guest as well. So, we took it from two approaches. Would you like to meet our designers? This designer really has an appeal to what you do, and they'd like to work with you and collaborate. Now, a couple of the buyers are telling me SABEETA now is a really tough time because we have so much inventory on our hand because of the pandemic, right? In terms of entertaining, new designers or new brands in our stores, a little bit of a challenge because we're managing our current inventories. However, I'm liking what I'm seeing, but I'd like to put a pause on it and have that conversation mid-year. So I'm getting some of that. And when I get that, I'm going down to the tier 2 buyers because we have different tiers of buyers. So, but they're liking what they're seeing. So there'll be a lot of follow-ups after. And secondly, they've all committed to attending the Global Fashion Show and to meet the designers. So they're actually going to say hi to the designers, stop into their virtual booths on the day of the 25th. So what will happen is they may not have a 30-minute call with them now, but they'll go in and meet each designer and get to understand them. And that's kind of where we've pushed it. We're using technology as disruptive innovation to bring fashion to the homes of people now, to bring it to your offices, to take it to Australia, to take it to Africa, to take it to India, all through the US. So it's not a fashion show in Miami. It's a global fashion show that everyone can attend on the 25th of March.
Mm-hmm. And that's the beauty of technology, and in a way, the pandemic has brought it to us because we were forced to think differently to bring the innovation, and now an industry that was local is now going,
Exactly.
international, and that's fantastic. So we're gonna have a break, and then we're gonna, talk a little bit more about the initiative and the fashion show and what are the key thing that we need to know as not only as participant but also if we want to buy or to connect with the different designer. So don't go anywhere. I hope you're enjoying the conversation. We will be back in few minutes. So we are back. We are back with Sabita and Aisha. And one question that I have, as you could see from the video, there's so much going on in the fashion industry in Africa, in Europe, in, Asia. So what is the, Trinidad and Tobago fashion? What do you bring to the world?
Oh, that's an awesome, awesome, awesome question. For a long, long time, we've been talking about something we call the Caribbean aesthetic, which is Trinidad fashion and the Caribbean fashion. As you've seen with Africa, Africa really comes together and unites, and they push their fashion as one united continent. And then, of course, you see Nigerian fashion, which is having such a great moment. You see it come to the forefront, and then you see Ghanaian fashion come to the forefront. So that's something that we love, and it's something that we also try to do. So we have something called a Caribbean aesthetic. And Caribbean aesthetic is just, there is a way that we express ourselves as Caribbean people. We use color and the fabrications and the lightness of the fabrics that we use, the innovations that we use, the materials. Those type of things are the essence of what we call Caribbean fashion, the Caribbean aesthetic, and really push and promote that throughout with our designers. And the Caribbean aesthetic doesn't mean that it has to be everything colorful, although it can mean that. We have a designer, one of our designers, Heather Jones, is known for fabrication, where she uses silk and she creates unique patterns on each and every single piece. So it's very beautiful. It's fab. She uses a lot of the material around her is her inspiration, orchids and flowers and the blue of the Caribbean Sea. So you have that beautiful aesthetic, but you also have aesthetics that come from our Caribbean heritage. And the Caribbean heritage has flavors of East Indian heritage. It has flavors of African heritage. So even with the cloth, the dress that I'm wearing right now is Lord by a Fear. They play with prints, but they mix the prints in a unique way because Trinidad is kind of mixed. Caribbean people there's a lot of different cultures that came together on our islands. So that is one of the things where there's a play on prints, on textures, on different types of fabrication. And then for us, because we are from the Caribbean and not from a region where it's temperate, where there's winter and spring and autumn, a lot of our fabrics are light, like cotton fabrics. So we play a lot in the resort wear kind of category. But we also festival people. We're people who have different events, very event-driven culture. So a lot of our garments are for that, very event-driven. And actually, during the pandemic, SABEETA was talking about the entire way it hit the fashion industry. It did, and particularly Trinidad, because we are very based on events. And we dress, as we say, we dress up for events. We make sure we look exceptional for every event. And the impact of not having events, not having carnival, even this carnival that we have, it's just a few small social events. Whereas for us, carnival starts in January and ends on Carnival Tuesday, which is the end of our big festival and brand. So it's 2 months of just events after events, multiple events in one day, actually, sometimes. But the pandemic really affected that. But I have seen through that, as SABEETA was talking about the disruptive technologies, I have seen such innovation from our designers in changing their business models and changing how they communicate with consumers, in coming, really grasping onto technology to innovate their products, innovate their offerings, innovate what they use, really even like just getting into e-commerce, getting into those lines of business. It's been phenomenal. I mean, the pandemic was very difficult, but in a lot of ways it pushed a lot of our designers out of their comfort zones. And you see that even in their designs itself, of course. Out of creative people, out of challenges, their creation becomes even more a reflection of what they're going through. So the pandemic was really, really difficult for us. But in a lot of ways, I've seen designers going to new markets. I've seen designers going to markets abroad. Part of our design aesthetic is it's a tropical island, so a lot of beach wear. But our beaches were closed. Actually, just opened in January. Our beaches were properly closed for a long time. But I saw a lot of designers changing their aesthetics to going to markets that were open. So Miami, US based, was open way before we were, and I saw a lot of designers all of a sudden their main markets were outside, and I was like, what happened? They're like, well, I have to function. I cannot stay here, so I have to go. And they started making connections with true Hollywood stars, and I saw them wearing their garments, and they were like, yes, and I'm starting to get orders because of that. They really understood influencer branding, influencer marketing. It was amazing to see the innovation that just leaped forth out of them. And even you saw a lot of designers who were once into making kind of festival wear, which is outdoor. You saw them make lounge wear for indoor with the same fabrication patterns, but make it for more comfortable setting. Make it for Zoom wear, like so for your Zoom meetings. It's been incredible to watch the innovation that comes from creation. And I think that is the core, the essence of the Caribbean aesthetic, is that innovation. It's really creative. It's the essence of expressing yourself through garments, and not only expressing yourself, but expressing the time period that you're in through the garments that we wear. It's really what is really different about us and what we really bring to fashion. And also that element of just using fabrics that are much lighter.
I'd like to add to what Aisha just shared. We have a particular designer who works with a lot of applique, and he was able to create such a powerful collaboration with some of the markets in New Mexico that is very applique friendly and loves applique. So they're reaching. Our designers are doing an amazing job reaching outside of the geographic boundaries of Trinidad and connecting with like-minded individuals in other parts of the world. And we are seeing similarities in terms of the things that appeal to people in Trinidad that are appealing to others. I look at Claudia, who's one of our designers, and I look at her designs, and We recently got featured. Are you familiar with Power Woman magazine
Yeah.
In Africa? So
Mm-hmm.
they covered Heather Jones with a 2-page spread, and a couple of people reached out to me and said, "This looks very African, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It looks very African, in terms of the designs that was on the magazine. She got such a lot of interest in the work that she was doing in Trinidad, appealing to the African market. And then I started sharing with Dr. Joy some of the work from Claudia, because I figured, okay, when I look at Claudia's prints, I'm like, okay, well, hang on, you need to look at this designer as well, right? And I started sharing some of Claudia's work as well and saying, hang on, so do we have two potential designers that are very attractive to the African market right now? And that for me is so impactful and powerful.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that's what, that's what Aisha was saying, is that there's, the roots, there's still, we see some of the people in Trinidad that have the African roots, so it's still there, and then bringing this diversity into the Caribbean aesthetics, and and African actually attracted to it, because when they see it, it's talking to them.
Yes.
And that's what fashion is all about. Sometimes we think that it's just wearing something and that's it. No, it speaks to people, and that's really the connection that we're looking for. So you have the big event coming in, the Fashion Virtual Trade Mission on
Yes.
Friday, 25th of March. Tell us more about it,
So,
especially I'm very curious about, how people can participate, and really the process of, being part of it.
so Aisha, before we tell, how about we share first?
Yes.
Mhm.
So I believe a picture tells 1,000 words. Mariel, I'm going to share my screen. And
Okay.
when I share my screen, I'm going to share the platform, which is a
Mm-hmm.
virtual conferencing platform that was powered by my company, Cardinal Services, to support the push of the exhibition. So it's a huge expo with the
Mm-hmm.
11 designers. And within that expo, you have the opportunity to go to a fashion show in an auditorium. You also have the ability to enter our lobby. So when you enter, you're going to enter through the main lobby.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately when you enter, you feel the Caribbean, because you're going to hear Machel Montano, and you're going to hear
Mm-hmm.
a lot of Caribbean music greeting you. And when you enter it, it's 3D, so you kind of feel walking into the actual auditorium. Then you can
Mm-hmm.
select designers. You go in to meet your designers. Or on the day of the show, we have a panel of speakers, and we're going to have them timed at different sessions. So if you are interested in hearing a particular person, you can go select those sessions and listen to it. It's going
Mm-hmm.
to be a live stream through the platform. So let me start sharing, and then after I finish share, we kind of
Yeah,
talk around what you saw.
looks exciting, isn't it?
It is. It
It's
is. We
very
are
exciting. Yeah.
so happy. Give me 1 second. Let me know when you're seeing it.
We can't see it yet.
Not yet.
Are you seeing it?
No, not
Not
yet.
yet.
Okay, it's
Okay,
timing.
I need to add. Yeah. Okay, that's it. Yeah, it's here. I had to add it on the stream.
Oh,
Sorry.
yes.
Mhm.
Okay, is it
So we
visible?
can see it now.
Yes, you can see it now.
So
Yeah.
this is the platform, and it's called fashionevent.vertex.in, and you enter with this URL. This is the ministry that's governing the project. Export TT is Fashion TT's local partner, and Fashion TT is the home for all things fashion in the Caribbean. When you enter, you're pretty much going to have to put in your details here to enter. Okay. When I enter through here, when you enter through here, I'm capturing your username and your email address for the database. Once I hit login, it takes you into the lobby, and I'll walk you through the rest after.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Oh, epic, epic. Oh,
So along the walls of the
oh,
lobby are all the designers' images running along.
Setting
And it's
on the
moving
mind.
images.
I'm waiting, oh yeah. I want everybody to know we out here. I'm feeling the vibes. Oh, what time
If you
is
want to meet the
there? And we
designers,
taking
you click
over the
here.
show. We don't care.
It takes you straight into the designer area where all the designers have a booth. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You can drop down here and select the designer of your choice, or you can scroll across to choose the designer you'd like to visit. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I enter this booth. All right. In the booth, can you see the images of the designers rolling across the carousel?
Yeah, I can see it. That's
Actually,
fantastic.
these are Charu's new images that are loaded.
Yes. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If I
That's
like this
high
piece,
tech.
look at this. If I like this piece, look at it. We
Stunning.
try to bring so much appeal with the vibrancy of the colors. It's almost as if you're in the store touching an item. Okay. There's a lot of product appeal with each of these images. You can get up close and personal. And if you are interested in any of them, you can go chat with the designer here. You can actually start a conversation. So we've opened up the room for engagement. Remember earlier I told you a lot of the buyers who were not ready to have new brands in are still looking forward to attending our show. They will be stopping by each of these booths. So I will bring them across and introduce them to each of the designers on the 25th and say, hey, Charu, this is buyer XYZ from this department store, and introduce them and leave them here where they continue their conversations. Okay. So you have that opportunity to talk directly to the designer. You can request a call back, right? And that's sent to the designer's WhatsApp. You can download a brochure in here. We've put the different lookbooks. Each designer has their lookbook. Well, I'm not sure why it's not opening. I think it was the format, but I'll check it. For each designer, there is a lookbook. I'll have to refresh it. It was working this morning when I checked it. You can also watch the videos of the designers.
This that song make I wake up the whole nation.
So you can go in there, look at their designs. You can go straight to their Instagram pages from here. Takes you straight into their Instagram pages. It takes you to their Facebook. It takes you to their website. Right? So you can browse their collections. It's very interactive. It allows you a number of touch points with the designers. Right? You have a lot of
Fantastic.
opportunities to see the designer's work. Anything, look, you know, we made it as attractive as possible by using all the technology we can to bring the designers, you know, appeal. Here we have a fashion showcase, which is in an auditorium. Okay. So if you want to see all the fashion designers, you can come into the auditorium here. They'll be running back-to-back videos of each designer. Okay, so you can actually stay in this auditorium for a while and kind of look at all the fashion shows. And then if you want to ask a question, you can talk directly to our tech support team who will be on standby. So I have my full team on standby that day to direct questions. So if it is that, Maria, you're interested in meeting designer Heather Jones, and you say, hey, how can I connect with the Heather Jones? My support team on the 25th will give you all the contact points for each designer. Okay, so this is fully supported on the day off. Any questions will be answered here. You know, the program, we have yet to upload the program, but we do have a list of tentative speakers for the event. But it's going to be a fantastic day. It's going to be packed. You know, I just think it gives us so many different points of contact.
I love the music. I love the intro. It's just so vibrant. It's amazing. So wow, I take, lots of color, lots of, positive energy. That's just amazing. So let's have a break and then we come back and talk a little bit more about, how do we what do you really want, from the audience, and how we can participate and also, get a little bit of this vibrant energy, and like I said, get to shop as well. But I'm not gonna tell my husband that right now. So let's have a break, and then we'll be back for, for the last part of the show.
Fais pas vivre sans café. Dewa en tout droite, tous les souhaits. Pas quitter madame en calme. Même si vous savez ça, ça fait la peine. Elle est souffert, moi elle a souffert.
So we are back. We are back, and I hope that you are amazed by this disruptive, innovative tool that Cardinal Cardinal is bringing to us. And please make sure we're not going to be able to discover the full technology here. So if you need to know more, please connect directly with Dr. SABEETA. I'm going to call her doctor here because the tool is just amazing, and she will, make sure a team in Cardinal Services can guide you and make sure that you participate, at this upcoming event. So just to ask you, Aisha, anything that you want to say about, the event that we've missed out so far during the conversation?
And so, the event is, as we were saying, the 25th of March. And if anyone wants to come, the link will be available. And it's just to type in your your name and then the email address. And if you are interested in coming we're going to have some awesome workshops. We have our professor called Andrew Ramroop, who is a Savaro Taylor, who's going to speak at the event. Our Minister of Trade is going to be there. Some other dignitaries are going to be there. So we're really, 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 really excited to feature our designers at the event. We really want to encourage anyone who's interested. You will have opportunities to meet designers there because they're going to be there all day, as well as you'll be able to shop from designers there. They will be all available, all the garments will be available. You'll be able to see all just the lovely innovation, different types. There's something for everyone. There's stuff for people who want to be extremely fabulous every second of the day. There are things for people who want to be more comfortable and wear loungewear. There are things for every single type of design. There are suits for men. It is going to be phenomenal. Just an incredible day of fashion. And fashion is just such a wonderful way to express yourself. So I'm sure there'll be something for every single person there. So that is the main things that we want to really encourage everyone to come out and to come to our session on the 25th.
Mm-hmm. And anything else that you want to add, SABEETA? Because
Marie, I've actually just dropped my email address in the private chat and the fashion event platform as well. If you can share it for the audience, will be great. Please feel free to drop us a line. Australia, I used to be in Australia and a local Australian for about 5 years of my life. So I'm looking for your support, right? Reach out to us.
We're gonna support you. Don't worry. We'll support you anyway. So
yeah, join us on the day. Come see the fantastic work. Just come see and meet our designers and kind of get a feel of the Trinidad outside of oil and gas, because we are bigger than that. We are people full of color. We have the biggest fashion show in the world, Carnival. So, we got things that are really promising on that day. So we really hope that you join us.
So you definitely have to be there. And like you said, we discovering. We're discovering Trinidad and Tobago, a new face of Trinidad and Tobago. Just like you mentioned, I knew Trinidad and Tobago from oil and gas energy sector, but not from the fashion side. So it's a good, it's good that you are going global and now showcasing what a local Trinidad designer can do and can offer to the world. And it's a massive diversity that we need in in that in that space, because sometimes we only see the one that have platforms, and it's good to have this new platform where you can bring anybody from Trinidad and Tobago with talent, and showcase their talent to the world. So I there's something that I really always want to ask before we leave. I can see the passion, especially with Aisha, the passion of bringing all of this to the world. And my question to you is, what are you really, what is the legacy that you want to leave through everything that you're doing right now?
What an awesome question. The legacy I would love to leave in terms of everything that we are doing in Fashion TT and beyond Fashion TT is really just helping designers, creatives, not only designers, musicians, artists, to really maximize their potential to fulfill what they want to do. Because if you ever speak to a creative, they have so many wonderful ideas and talents and skills, and it's quite often interconnected. So your designers, and many of them are artists, and many of them are they do spoken word, they do a lot of calypso, different parts of our culture. And to see that, to be able for them to use that and to maximize their potential, to take their potential global, to develop their brand so that they're able to perform globally and to be able to give back, because many of them want to give back. They want to employ those in our midst. They want to employ other creatives. In a country where oil and gas has been our mainstay, it has made things like just the creative sector feel a little stifled, because oil and gas gets all of the attention, all of the resources, talented, and just being able to help creatives to really be the ones to be the next forefront. Because I mean, oil and gas, wonderful, but there's another forefront for our country so that we can develop, and that's our creative talents in the myriad of ways that we have them. We're such a creative people, and just to be able for them to be able to use those talents and skills and to develop the country, contribute to GDP, to contribute to the growth of our economy. It's just, honestly, that's the legacy we want at Fashion TT and beyond. Because we are Fashion TT, which I should have mentioned, is a subsidiary of a group called Creative TT. And part of Creative TT is Music TT. So the artists that you heard, some of the artists that will be featured on the platform are artists that we work with, and we work with them in the same way we work with fashion designers. So we help them grow their music talents so that they're able to export it. And music industry is completely different. The business models are completely different. It's very exciting to watch. And then we have another part of Creative TT called Film TT, because there are lots of filmmakers here. So Trinidad has a very creative space. Lots of creatives floating around. And we just want to make sure that they maximize their potential and really reach the growth that they can have.
And I'd like to just add to what Aisha said, Mariel. I think a lot of times Trinidad is looked at in terms of how we do things for the small islands, and doing what we're doing now is really a pilot case in terms of, pushing fashion through technology. And just really, Lisa and Aisha and I joke about it, but we're really serious when we say, this is going to be disruptive. This is going to be the way forward. We're going to write a case study on this and talk about all the success stories that come out of it. And, for us, this is a solution to a problem that has resulted because of the pandemic that can help everyone within the Caribbean and bring the Caribbean nations together.
This is definitely the disruptive. This is the future. Like you said, I know there's going to be, a lot of things, a lot written about it. And you have to make sure it's actually written, on paper. And it's actually traveling the world, because I think you're going to help so many young, designer, not only in Trinidad, but also in Africa, I think, where, a lot of the designer, there's a lot of talent, but they can't actually reach out, to the world. And that's going to be really the template, the blueprint for them to really break through and make sure that they get the exposure and also get to, to share and their talent. So it has been amazing. And I think what you told me as well, there's for people who are still, not convinced, they are, there's a lookbook from the previous edition of the fashion show. It was a more traditional one. That's the first virtual one, but just to look at the kind of design that Fashion TT is supporting, and the talent that is there, because when I look through it, the talent is amazing. So have a look and make sure be there on the 25th of on the 25th of March. It's soon, so get ready. Get your budget ready. Get your
Your credit cards
get
in
your
hand.
get your budget
Yes.
ready. Get your your IT in
Yes.
order, so that you can participate from wherever you are. And that's the beauty of it, is
Right.
that you can participate from from your bedroom, from your anywhere in the world. And it's gonna be fantastic. So before we leave,
Marie, I'd just
the
like to add.
podium, one word for both of you.
Yeah, yeah. I just want to add that we believe in sustainability. So it doesn't end after March 25th. There will be opportunities to continue engaging with the designers, doing e-commerce with them, more to come on that. But we have an ongoing commitment to ensure that visibility is important and sustainability is there to carry what we've started.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Sabita, for bringing,
No worries. I
this,
lost Aisha. I
this,
lost Aisha's video. I'm not sure why. Aisha, are you there with us?
I think she's there with us, but she just switched off the video. And we lost her. So it's
We lost.
been amazing to just discover, a new, not only a new platform, but also new talent, because that's what it's all about. We're
You're
talking
back.
about greatness here. We're talking about greatness, and that's the greatness that we want to see. See how people can create, how people can innovate, how people can bring new ideas, and how people can facilitate, and create platform to facilitate this greatness to flow and help people to go to the next level in everything that we do. So thank you so much for those who joined us today. I will replay the show, because I think it's an important show, that with the innovation that you brought to get the word out there, and make sure everybody knows what's coming up, and participate massively to the event in March 25th, virtually. So thank you very much. Have a great day. And I'll be in contact anyway, to know more. And I'll be participating anyway. I'm not going anywhere. So thank you so much. Take care. Have a great day, Sabita. And also, Aisha, thank you. It was a pleasure to have you here and to have you share all this amazing work that Fashion TT is doing, and the passion that you have for to empower entrepreneurs, and especially people in fashion. So thank you so much, and have a great day.
We
Thank you so
appreciate
much.